Hello everyone. In an earlier video I mentioned that Jack had an encounter with a pitbull. Before we begin, not all pitbulls are dangerous. I wouldn't even say that two unneutered males are dangerous. He will get along with all of them, intact or otherwise. He even prefers to play with intact dogs because they're more boisterous. However, there was one more factor: women. This particular one was friends with both of them. Jack was, funnily enough, not trying to pursue her, and he was happy to wait to play. He was just sitting by my feet, still on his lead, but the other dog decided he wanted her all to himself, and so he bit him. Now, before we go any further, please remember that a pit bull is a terrier, which means that they have the same instinct as my dog Jack. He attacked Jack the same way he would attack a mouse or a rat or a bull. The difference is his face is bigger than mine, so he has the instinct of any other terrier, from the Chihuahua to the pit bull to the Jack Russell. But he has the strength of 10 men in his jaw alone. It also doesn't make him more aggressive, he just has more strength. Anyway, as far as Jack is concerned, the next minute he is being held by the throat, and he only has seconds to make a decision. Now Jack, considering that he had to think on his feet, did something very clever. He played possum. He was so convincing that the dog let him go, and that is something that you need to understand with terriers. They'll only play and fight and attack if there is life. If it appears dead or not moving, they will lose interest, and that goes for anything and any breed, however big or small. Once that terrier realizes that he is no longer alive, there's nothing to kill, and so therefore they must move on and find the next thing. He was completely limp, and I thought he was dead. He completely convinced me, that's for sure. I mean, he was just lying there like a soggy chip on the floor. By the way, upon seeing that there was trouble, the girl left. One thing I forgot to add is that during the biting, another friend of Jack tried to intervene and even tried to save Jack by fighting the pit from behind. Upon seeing this, the owner of that dog kicked the pit bull, and so relieving Jack. After everything, Jack lay there for a very long time, and I thought he was dead. He stayed like that for about a minute before opening one eye and looking around. He looks at me. I am crying, so he opens the other eye and looks around and makes sure that the dog is gone before jumping up and coming to comfort me. Now at this point Jack still considered him a friend. They used to be friends, and there was never any problem between them. Now I think I did a very stupid thing next. I assumed that they were still friends, and that this was just an argument between two hormonal males because there was a woman involved. And I ended up going to the owner's house because I needed to get something from her, and she only lived 4 doors away from me. We got along absolutely fine, so I didn't think there'd be an issue. Please cut me some slack for my stupidity, as I was about 16. Now, the thing with the people in that house is that the woman who I went round to see, it wasn't her dog. She was looking after it at the time, but it was her daughter's, and I believe that her daughter got it to look tough in front of her boyfriend, because she couldn't handle it either. But of course, she wasn't going to say that now. Anyway, I go around to her house because I needed something, probably tea bags, can't remember, and she said that she would get them for me and that I could come in. Another funny thing is that when I came in, the dog greeted me and Jack as if nothing had happened, so that almost reinforced for me that it must have been a one-off. Maybe he was just having a bad day, and it just so happened that because he's big, maybe he didn't mean anything by it, assuming, of course, because he didn't actually puncture Jack. But for all my knowledge of dogs, the one thing that I forgot was territory. No, there was no woman now, but there was the territory issue because we are coming into his house, and this time he decides to make sure to finish the job. He wastes no time and goes straight for the jugular. However, this dog should have been called Lucky, because since he went limp one more time, the dog narrowly missed the jugular. causing him to pierce on both sides, missing it. Now, I had an immediate response. I screamed because I saw blood, and Jack managed to get out and started to defend himself by snapping and threatening him. That caused her to come down from wherever she was, and she goes and calls my mum, who then calls the vet. We did manage to stop the bleeding, but then something else happened when we got him back to the house. He had a seizure, and it was pretty much on and off for ages, except we didn't realise that it was a seizure because he'd not had one before. However, at about 1 o'clock in the morning, he has another one, although we don't realise it, and he starts peeing uncontrollably. So we call the PDSA and take him there as fast as we can. Now when we get there, they identified that he was having a seizure, and they examined him for any signs of trauma, which is when they found the neck. They said that they could not operate on it because it was too close to the jugular and it could cause paralysis. So for the next couple of days, they told us that they couldn't stitch it and that nothing should touch it. So he had to walk around with an open wound while peeing on the lamppost and coming indoors. Oh, and by the way, this fight ended their friendship as far as Jack was concerned. Before, he was willing to give him another chance. Not now. A lot of things happened that day. First of all, Jack had a seizure, and then my body went and had a meltdown. And for about 2 days, my stomach just bailed on me in panic. The dog, for about 2 years, didn't trust staffs and pit bulls for a very long time unless they were women. Now, not all terriers are just aggressive. However, this was a woman/territory issue. Unfortunately, their friendship was lost. And remember this, they don't act without warning. They may, however, act in a way you don't understand. So if you have a dog, make sure you know the language. And with most dogs you don't know, keep in mind the potential, but don't be scared because they will smell it. Anyway, from then on, Jack hated him and they never recovered the friendship. And it's rare that Jack ever holds a grudge, but this affected him a lot, so I don't blame him. The thing that annoyed me, though, was the daughter's response to the situation. The mum was okay. She was very, very apologetic, but the daughter was begging us not to put her dog down and saying that that's her baby. Not that we were going to put her dog down, but that's my baby, and yours just tried to eat mine. But if Jack had eaten a chihuahua, the owner would have been within their rights. The funny thing is, if you see these huge dogs trying to catch a mouse, they use the same strategies as my dog. But they are bigger and more muscular, and so it's not going to be as easy for them to get a mouse or rat than it would be for someone like Jack, who is low to the ground and can immediately see the thing within his sight. Keep this in mind. Not all dogs are dangerous, but certain big dogs have different instincts, and as I said in my other video, golden retrievers just want to fetch and retrieve. However, not all pit bulls are dangerous. They have the potential, but you have to train them like a child to control their temper, which this one just didn't have. As I said, they were trying to make it tough so it looked cool, and I nearly lost my dog because of it. The sad thing is, when we first met this dog, they were best mates, but during his teenage years and his hormonal years and so on, he took his frustration out on Jack. So, to give a brief recap, Jack is okay. This happened when he was a puppy. He has got over the fear, and he is not aggressive to breeds as a whole. He likes to be friends with everyone, but he's learned to be wiser now and to look out for the signs. And so have I, having had nearly double my life to think about it. 14 or 15 years is a very long time to learn from an occasion and realise what exactly is going on. And Jack has always been the way that if he sees stress beginning to happen, he will either run, or, if it's too late, he'll just play dead. If it's someone else or a friend of his, he will get involved even if it kills him. Anyway, if you're still here, you're handsome, and you're beautiful, and you? Well, I'm speechless. I'll let you know next time I see you. Over to the pets. Hello all, this is Sylvie. If you liked what you saw, then subscribe for more.
Hey everyone, my name's Bonjo. If you enjoyed yourself, then give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends.
Hi everybody, I'm Jack,
and if you had fun, then comment down below and let my mum know if you prefer big dogs or small dogs.